Can you just introduce yourself and the firm, workplace to the viewers once?
Yeah. My name is Sudhir. I'm an associate director of Gayathri and Namith Architects. I've been working in the firm more than 2.5 decades now,
Yeah.
and I'm from Bangalore. We have projects all over India and little projects international we work.
So what are the very core principal values GNA is following through their projects? What do you guys believe in? Which becomes core of every project you do, and every project it's its own way of coming up
Correct,
with the
expressing.
expression, but the core remains same.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
I think GNA has got a DNA of its own, you know, wherein I think our core has been always contextual, always sustainable, and always a continuation of heritage reflection. I think we as a country have such a strong tradition and
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
In the moving times, can we express it in the different times what's happening? You know, so for example, the project we presented this time,
Yeah.
you know, has been a sustainable, contextual to India, but collaboration with an international client
Yeah.
since they were a company from Germany.
Yeah.
But how do you get the Indian ethos?
Yeah.
So most of our projects, we have this as the backbone, you know, of the architecture principles what we follow.
And this, can you take us through the process, complete process of getting a brief to the design completion? How does your team tackle it? Like how many people get involved in it, or is it definitely it's not a one-man show? Like how does that happen? That whole process. We'll go a little elaborately on this one.
Uh, as you're aware, I mean, the Gayatri and Namith Architects have been started with two founders,
Yeah.
Gayatri and Mr. Namith. They always built in building up this kind of a community of architects within. So what happens is when we get a brief or a design, I think we go a little deep into questioning the brief. So we have dialogues of the brief, of that, and then only we start on the we look at the sustainability angle, we look at the contextual angle, and then we look at how the building also can pass through different phases. It's nothing that we are stuck to something. So we do projects from a very kind of a traditional contextual to a very high tech net zero building, because I think that's what architects have to kind of move through different projects. And then we have kind of been interesting that we've been getting different types of projects. And I think that's what makes it very interesting working in GNA.
Yeah. Can you give us some insights and your personal experience working with the project which actually got you here today?
That's a team who worked on these projects, and it's been kind of challenging when you work. It's a large training facility with its own kind of staying facility, and it has to have its own dining and training. And you have people of all walks of life coming into it. So I think the adaptability had to be there. See, now with the moving ages, I think the training methodology has changed,
Yeah.
and people's ability to grasp is becoming more and more kind of thin
Okay.
because of constant distraction.
Yeah.
So we always see that with nature is a very interesting part we can hold. So this training facility is beautifully blended with nature, and you know kind of we've taken the five elements of nature and we've used it together, and that's been interesting. And we reflected each state of India. So because this is a global company and we have different states of people coming, so we kind of created an identity with each of them. That's been good.
Yeah.
So it's been very fun working
Yeah.
on the job.
Working with the collaboration with the outside firm, I spoke about that.
It's not
Like
working
how,
in collaboration.
yeah,
The clients are
clients are.
clients are
How was their brief, sir? What
I think
was?
they just brief was a very simple training facility. But I think our adaptation of through our design dialogues and charades, that there are three types
Yeah.
in spaces. One is the physical space,
Yeah.
one is the mental space, and one is the ethereal space. So the physical space is only the requirements.
Yeah.
But what's the mental space? How do you kind of create the mental kind of stability or the beauty, energy inside that.
Yeah.
The ethereal is the quality of space, So we work on all these three layers,
Yeah.
and these three layers have got different kind of communication. So physical can be tactile materials. Mental has to be in kind of more of the nature and how do you kind of calm them down.
Yeah.
The ethereal is giving the soul into the space. So blending these three spaces is a very interesting part. So we kind of have been interestingly working on this space for a long time.
Like talking specifically about this project, the aesthetics in the project was not like we generally follow GNA. There's a lot of different kind of approach in the aesthetics of this building. Talking about function and aesthetics in this building, it looks more of leaning towards function a lot than the aesthetics. How do you feel that balance should have been or it is now?
I think in this, I mean, even though as a team we all work together, but a specific team worked on that. The idea is keeping it simple, but the beautiful Indian materials we used. I don't know if you've seen that
Yeah,
raw concrete, there's Kota
yeah.
flow, and there's the interesting granite
Wall, there are
panels.
paintings
Yeah, and
from
there's
artists,
art integrated
art
into it.
integration.
So we are looking at how do you look Indian materials in a very modern context. We don't need to really put all these very polished marbles. So we wanted to create that theme. So when somebody goes to this training center, I think we want them to cut away from the
Yeah,
outside world and come into its own oasis. That was the idea. So there's a central courtyard where all of them looks into the green, and you have multiple training spaces just blended with that.
yeah,
So the interiors have been pretty. That's where the interiors have changed,
yeah.
and we brought in a lot of art into it. That's interesting.
Yes. And in the project discussions, you guys go through a lot of brainstorming, and there is a level before anything happens on the paper. The idea of a project actually is created through the discussions, through the this whole team is discussing on it. There is a certain level of expectations, what you said in the beginning, and as the production happens, the way how it goes, and the final product is a little different than actually what was expected. How was this difference, or was there a difference in the project?
I mean, all our designs, when we go, we give a lot of thought in the schematic stage. And during that stage, the client's brief, we analyze the client's brief. We also have a little bit of the construction brief. So if you look at most of our projects, are very contemporary in its analysis of structure. We go very, very high tech. I mean, come time, some of the things we are on post-stressed kind of
Yeah, yeah,
buildings.
yeah,
At the same time, keeping the structure very minimal.
yeah,
So we try to hold on to the brief. Yes, the economy of the project at some time, the durability of there they do have changes,
yeah,
but the core concept we try to as much keep it as the same.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the journey, right? That's
yeah.
the journey from the start to end,
Start to end.
where we have these different battles to negotiate.
Yeah,
I think one of our challenges has been, I mean, clients where we need to kind of educate them or make them understand why are we doing this.
yeah,
Then from the construction system where our country still has to move,
yeah.
it's now
Yeah,
that's
it needs
getting
to
better
move a
and
lot.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that negotiation of these spaces, and I think we look at it as fun,
okay.
because one in GNAs we always kind of keep pushing our boundaries of design. We kind of make it very, very difficult for ourselves and everybody else. I think that's where the fun is
Yeah.
on what we do.
About design industry in Bangalore or in India. What do you feel like we are in a global platform today? We're looking at hundreds of other projects, what other countries are doing. In your eyesight, in your goggles, where do you feel our architecture is standing?
I think we are getting very, very matured. We also become contextual. I feel a beautiful awareness is changing with a lot of young architects coming. Sustainable goals are becoming. I think cultural context is getting better. Earlier there was a rush of completely using only the foreign materials and all that. Now we as a core have always been, how do you express this Indianness into the space? I feel that's coming back. I'm very happy about that. Yes, they do challenges of kind of high-tech buildings are there because that needs modernity, which we as a country are still developing. But I like the way things are
Things
coming back to tropics, you know, taking climate in mind, culture in mind. I feel a lot of projects evolving like that.
yeah.
That's good. That's very good.
And looking back at your 2 decades of practice, sorry, huge and heavy practice. How is your thought processes? How is your approach to the design? Has evolved, changed, learned, or unlearned? How was this design philosophy update from the last 20 years of?
Uh, I think it's a very interesting journey. You know, I've been fortunate working with GNA and continuous kind of thought process. We kind of provoke and keep moving ahead. Fortunate to keep traveling around, and fortunate to get a platform to kind of work on different projects. You know, we have culture, we have museums, we have resorts, we have all type of
Yeah,
projects.
yeah,
But the beauty is we continuously update and adapt ourselves to the future projects. So I feel the project as of the previous project is the last, and the new project is the next
yeah,
kind of a battle we have to start. So that way it's keeping us always on our toes, and we push our creativity to the edge, and that kind of continuous creative engagement and makes you sharp. I feel that's very interesting.
yeah. Talking about design trends, do you believe architecture has a trend of its own, happening something happening for a short period of time? I understand there is a lot of styles which have come up because of different kind of rulers, different kind of people, different kind of thoughts, beliefs, religion, everything. That actually we can call it style, not the trend. Today, there is a lot of talk going on in the design where we call something a trend. Do you believe architecture has a trend today uh, of its own, or do you believe trend should be there, or it's just a myth?
I feel the way the earth is going now, there could be only one trend of sustainability. See, the world has become as one. You become one. You can travel from Singapore within 2 hours, anywhere it comes. So the I think as a we have all become a global citizen. So there's a most important is to save our planet. I think that should be the important trend, which is where the whole style and everything is going towards it. In different ways. How can you be sustainable and how do you handle that? I feel that is where the whole trend has to start, and we as a firm always believed in that. In one of the first projects in 1997, my directors who got the ecology award
Yeah,
from there,
yeah,
and now that is a Shringeri Pachal. It's a monastery
yeah,
in the forest, but somewhere now we did a very high tech net zero building. So we always feel the trend will always be in sustaining our mother earth.
yeah,
So if you have I always believe in this. If you create a beautiful kind of a built space, and that kind of creates a beautiful community, and that community creates a beautiful neighborhood,
yeah,
and that neighborhood becomes a beautiful state,
yeah.
and those states become a lovely country. So I think that's the kind of spirit we all should have. So whichever trends, your styling can be different, but if the spirit is towards the main goal, I think that's something very
Yeah.
nice.
Talking about sustainability, even me and my team, like we were having a discussion about questions and all. When we talk about sustainability, either it is expensive today, or it is more of maintenance to a person, or you go for a regular concrete building where everyone calls very heavy carbon footprint buildings, but has zero maintenance throughout its life almost. So, do you believe in architecture when we build something, sustainability is a do we need to discuss about it, or it is just a myth? Is it actually working when we talk about sustainability in a building? Whether is it actually making some difference in the buildings?
I think we're not becoming aware of the serious damage it is causing. If you look at what's happening to the earth is still not understood, because we all feel, hey, it's my job, nothing, let the other guys do. So that trend of the mass in India is a big country, and we are one of the largest population. And if each of us in our house can turn off one bulb, and just look at the volume of how many billion people we are. So we as a country make a small change, there's a big impact. But this wrong myth of, yes, we are still in the transition of between having our basic needs and into luxury. People always feel sustainability is luxury. I don't think that, because the way we used to live earlier were very sustainable. All our homes, all our traditional homes, how sustainable it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
So it is, yes, it is made difficult, but A lot of things are changing. I feel the myth of sustainable is expensive is slowly changing with solar, with simple water harvesting, and we try to adapt a lot in this building. With simple orientation, simple shading, how simple we can do
Yeah.
is very critical. Yeah.
uh, your personal journey, yeah, like how it's been till today to you in GNA. Do you feel you wanted to change something back in the future, or how is this journey been for you very personally?
I feel it's been continuously exciting.
Okay.
It's every time. I mean, because the way Mr. Namith and Gayatri, we always look at, we push the brief. So that makes it exciting for us. I mean, it makes it a lot of painful for us, but that's the excitement. So the journey is continuously evolving. So we're kind of continuously moving our benchmark higher and higher in what we want to do. The recent couple of things, we thought that we are going to lose gardens, so we try to, now we have played, we're building the gardens of this terrace, like a hydroponic. We did our own experiment in our office. The next important thing is because of the technology which is coming in, it's harming a lot of spaces, your Wi-Fi's, and so we need to look at, these are sensitive things people are not seeing. 5G's come so easily, or it's very cheap data, but it's harming a whole space. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
So, how do we kind of, these are new challenges which is going to come into the human aspect of kind of, our health is going to get deteriorated. So, there are different challenges. I think mitigating these challenges is always a nice thing. You're discovering more and more.
Yeah,
I
part of
like
part
working
of
on
job,
this.
yeah.
Sorry?
That's a part of job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I think a
So
serious job.
yeah. So here in WAF, how is what this actually means to GNS being here?
Personally, I come to enrich myself by seeing this different thought process. I feel it's like interesting for designers to kind of keep updating. I like the future projects. I like some of the all the culture, and you see the way every architect from all over are kind of making negotiation solutions to their problems. I think that makes it exciting. So we take back a lot, because as this developing country, and we see these developed countries work, and I think we got a lot of ideas at how we can handle challenges in our place.
And what is GNA aiming in next 10 years? What is the firm aim of a bigger firm like this?
I think our aim or our vision has always been, I think, wherein there's so much of knowledge in the past, you know, and there's so much of adaptability which we can get. The past knowledge, can it be converted to the future solution, which we had seen so many centuries back? That's what we have. I mean, my house, which won an award in Paris, was an adaptation of how I can use local materials to heal my body, at the same time create the soul. So I feel that is a big. We have a memory of, elephant memory of knowledge,
Yeah.
and we're just getting swayed by the adaptive new materials. It's only materials, but this lovely. So we have a research wing working on it. How do you adapt these past? What I speak of body, mind, spirit.
Yeah.
That is true architecture. If you look at all our ancient temples or
Yeah.
homes, why do you, when you go there, why do you suddenly
Yeah.
feel calm? They knew to adapt all these
All
things.
this.
It's not only physical.
Yeah.
I feel that all these three layers have to be brought together.
Yeah.
That's our endeavor, and we're working on a couple of jobs like that.
Okay.
You know, so we'll
Like
do
yeah, talking yeah, actually temples do that job like very efficiently.
any cultural
Any
spaces.
cultural spaces, yeah. So isn't it because people have a devotion, like when people are ready for that kind of a feeling there, but when we compare it to the regular houses or regular centers or any kind of the building, people are looking at something else when they come here. So the elements of connecting, no, I won't call it spiritual, but it's a the feeling of that, which makes it very pure. So how do you feel that should be brought in all the buildings?
I think it. If you look at, let's go back to our either a temple or any religious places. They have designed that every step you go. I mean, there's a beautiful. I think this is what we're not understood. The previous masters understood about a body and understood about elements of nature. So if you go in a temple or any a church or a mosque, when you walk, you see that different steps elevate your chakras or the energies.
Yeah.
they learn the science, the chemistry of the body and the space. I mean, that's so. Why is that when you go to a mall, which is next to a temple, and why used to go to a temple? How do you feel the difference?
Yeah.
So there's kind of deeper essence of it, which I feel it's very that's the future of
Yes.
architecture.
So there are a lot of very young architects coming up in Bangalore, and you have seen a way lot
Yeah.
people. What do you feel the difference in architecture the young architects are making, or do you feel the young architects are missing something?
I think, I mean, there are a lot of young architects doing very good work, you know, and very challenging and trying to take up new things. But one has to know that going through architecture is a kind of a profession which gives back slowly,
Yeah.
so we can't get returns quickly, so we need to give, but opportunities are there. The beauty is there's a lot more opportunities, and a lot more client awareness has become better. The social media has allowed you to make a single platform. You can get knowledge from everywhere, that's there. But that's the challenge at the same time, and that's kind of the benefit at the same time, so I think
Uh,
there's a lot of opportunities
yeah.
here.
So like we actually spoke a lot about we touched some portions what we want to touch. Do you feel we didn't talk about some specific important part? Do you want to convey that to the viewers?
Specific in terms of any.
Anything, sir. It's just open.
I see architecture will go through a transformative times because of the tools which are coming in. But the tools are only tools.
Yeah.
But the spirit of architecture will be there.
Yeah.
And so adapting this change will be an interesting kind of challenge for us. And but I feel it's the time now. India is in its beautiful boom time, and we really have a lot more things to explore, and we've got all the tools coming to India. So we have an opportunity here which we can look at that. I look at a great future ahead.
So nice, nice a lot. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much.